Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gonzii and today we are going to be reacting to a brand new Casual Geographic video, man. This time called Animals That Get the Middle Finger from Childhood. Without further ado, let's react this thing, man. Let's go.
Hippo made me cry. Hippos are easily first ballot in the Hood Nature Hall of Fame.
Yes, they are.
Didn't get it from turning hundreds of humans into hashtags a year, or from being a part-time predatory land whale out of water, while also being fast enough to catch a ticket in a school zone. It's not because of it's not just their eyes. It's because as a kid, I was traumatized by 3 words: hippo, baby, shower.
Oh no. Oh no. That sounds horrible.
I was realizing 2 things about nature. 1, you hit the RNG lottery if you die of old age. And 2, you probably have a worse childhood than an actor from
Holy shit.
Since I've already made a mother and father video on this channel, instead, we're gonna do basically the opposite. Here are the animals that get spanked the hardest by reality the moment they're born. And while this isn't really a bad parents video, you're gonna see some of these animals need CPS in the worst way. So yeah, back to hippos. So as a kid, I was watching this documentary. I couldn't really tell you what it was called or even what it was about, but there was this one scene where a mother hippo showed up with her freshly born calf, and the other hippos woke up feeling like Mike, Jackson, Tyson, Jordan.
Oh my god.
The calf become
not the fuck them kids, man.
Hippos are actually pretty solid moms. They'll take a maternity leave from the herd and pretty much quarantine herself for weeks to have a kid,
good.
and it's usually after a couple of weeks.
Oh my god.
Problem is, if she
Maybe
comes back to an
hippos are so
overcrowded
cute,
pool or limited resources, or really just a hippoing, males will gang up on the mother, separate her from the calf, and make a hippo baby shower shockingly literal. In their defense, it's technically rare, and it's not like your favorite animals don't follow the same script. But man, did the squeals of an eviscerated baby hippo alter my brain chemistry. The hippo's first introduction to its own kind is a family pool party that can turn into an actual bloodbath, and if that's too dark for an intro, I'm gonna put this right here.
Warning!
Like the world to Ray Charles, it only gets darker. So in my non-professional online opinion,
let's go.
there's about 4 ways animals fresh out the womb get violated by the natural order. And the first one's what hippos go through, which I like to call running the gauntlet.
Okay.
Basically means because of circumstances, an animal too young to be anything but a milk merchant has to go through trials, tests, and a real-life bullet hell that I would hesitate to wish on my worst enemy. And unfortunately, my worst enemy is not this bird. You see, the barnacle goose had a problem. They build nests on high, cloud-caressing cliffs, away from polar bears and foxes, but their food source, aka their entire way of life, is at the very bottom. And because they're basically flying lawnmowers that eat mostly grass, they can't just mama bird food into their faces. And air Ubering them down ain't on the table.
Oh my god.
So their only option is to jump. All the way down.
Nah!
The day-old flightless baby barnacles freefall 400 feet straight down.
Oh
the Statue of Liberty would be a vacation for them, and the only thing breaking their fall are the rocks littering the bottom. Really, the only break they get is nature giving them a fluffy down coat and flyweight class to make the whole rock landing thing less of an immediate game over.
Oh my
but don't
god.
worry. It gets worse. The parent geese do help by calling out to the chicks and kind of coaching them down, but their encouragement can end up attracting the same predators they were trying to avoid in the first place. Also, as a conscious cotton ball, they go wherever the wind blows them, and if that happens to be too far away, they can get snatched by a raven before their parents even get to them. Not to mention, barnacle geese don't get full immunity. 10% of the chicks become a casualty to the cliffs, and only a third are alive after 2 days. Basically, this is the second animal in the row where baby shower sounds more like a sick joke, and wouldn't you know, they're not the only birds that don't get fall babies.
Just jump for no reason.
To 50 feet out of their tree nest.
Okay, that's water. That's better.
Inside. I didn't know water landing was a luxury. Because merganser chicks have to do the same thing, except the best they get are leaves. But at least with ducks and geese, they run the gauntlet, but they have their parents there the whole time. This crab could only be so lucky.
Whoa! I never seen a crab that small.
Every year, the crustacean exodus travels from within
the
forest
god, so
all the way
many.
to the coast by the tens of millions for, well, if you know what this drink is called, just know crabs have copious amounts of it. Walking
That's
to your
a nice
spring break when you're
cocktail,
only
bro.
inches tall
If
is
you know,
strong
you know.
enough. Doing it in reverse at tick size is veteran difficulty. Because a few
facts.
weeks later, the
Oh
Christmas
my
crab
god, they're
colony has
so
to backtrack
cute,
from
man.
the beach all the way back into the recesses of the jungle with the rest of the population. It takes over a week straight of walking while dodging everything from cars to the people in them.
Whoa.
And that's if they don't get spawned sniped on the beach by their own kind.
There's
Out
so
of the
many
legit
of them.
Millions of crabs that take the journey on, only, let's see here, 0.0001% of them live long enough to continue the cycle. Now, I'm not the best at math. They're arguably the only insect that can give 10% of the Furious 5 problems. It sounds like all but 1 in 10,000 crablets are statistically f***ed. Nothing says gauntlet like having so many kids. You basically force the right hand of RNG to do at least one of your own right. Spoiler alert, you're gonna see that again. But nothing makes running the gauntlet more literal than Godzilla's understudy. Ironically, the marine iguana is only a menace to alligators.
Iguanas!
chill like that.
They're cool,
Their
man.
childhood is anything but.
They are
Lab
chill.
iguanas will
They're
lay
nice.
their eggs deep in
They're
sand
cool.
or volcanic ash. But
Okay.
that also means they have to do the dash when their underground nursery turns out to be a snake pit. As soon as the iguanas
Whoa.
are born, they immediately
Oh,
rush
this
to the
video
rocks
is
to recover.
sick,
That
bro.
can get them tailgated
This
by,
iguana just
of
dodges
course,
every single
racer
snake.
snakes. And like their name suggests, they're liable to run down a luckless lizard. Bro really just blew a 4-0 leg lead. Oh, and
Yeah.
Euro-stepping Satan's garden hoses doesn't
Look
mean
at that.
they still can't
Ooh.
get picked off by the always menacing Galapagos hawk. Running
Okay.
through ops like Marshawn Lynch your first day out is survival of the
No
fittest
Marshawn
on
Lynch, bro.
steroids.
He was
and
good.
remember, running the
He was
gauntlet
sick.
is one of the ways the world plots.
If only Russell
But
Wilson
number
gave him
two
the
might
ball in the
arguably
final
be
play
worse.
of the
Criminal
Super Bowl, man.
negligence. Because at least with before, if you take an L, you can chalk it up to a skill issue. But with a parent like that, if you're strapped for luck, you're pretty much
Oh my, Silta's
in
so
trouble.
cute, man.
Harp Seal is actually a decent mother. For 12 days, she
Okay.
nurses her pup for less than 2
For
weeks.
12 days,
what?
then she
The
just
advantage
forgets
is the pup to go
about
find more
it.
males, because mother harps are for the sheets. The ice sheets.
I-
Keep in mind,
Oi,
baby seal
the
can't
ice
swim or
sheets,
otherwise
come on,
feed
man.
itself for the next 6 weeks, even losing half their weight in the process. Forcing a hunger strike on your kids is bad enough. Pulling that in polar bear country is diabolical.
Oh.
Worst part is, the pups are naive enough to confuse anything that moves for their mother. So those videos of them pulling up to cameramen, it just got a lot darker. Quackers
Yep.
are on a different kind of timing because they'll yeet their young as a contingency plan against
Not
predators.
not-
and while no,
not
they don't
the
literally
full
floor their
on
babies
pose,
into the
bro.
oblivion, if
The
things ever get too
quackers,
tight
bro.
during a
No!
chase, the muscles in the pouch do the exact opposite and drop the Joey on the ground. And while the screaming, writhing Joey gets the worst kind of
No!
attention, the marsupial hightails it because you know what they say.
What's 17 more years? I can
Oh my
always
God.
start again.
Oh,
Make another kid.
oh.
Kangaroos, wallabies, and quokkas have all been known to ghost their kids in the worst way. In fact, tree kangaroos have been known to eject their Joey over the stress of a bad storm. But hey, shout out to koalas. Not only could I not find cases of them sacrificing
Shout out
youth,
koala,
some
man.
koalas have adopted orphan Joeys and looked after them like their own. So big ups to the chlamydia kid.
Big up,
You got
man.
koalas caring for kids
Love
that aren't
koala
even
bears,
theirs,
bro.
and a
They're
desaturated
incredible.
deadbeat forfeiting custody to the gulag. Pandas often have twins. But
Oh,
because
man,
they only
worst
have the
moms,
facilities to
worst
keep one alive,
parents,
they'll basically
pandas,
flip
bro.
a coin, keep Zach, and Cody gets returned to sender. To the point where zoos have to play parent trap with a panda and will sub in one twin
Look
after
at that.
another. Whole time the bag of
Bro
everything
said,
should be
I will just
but you've
keep
definitely
this
heard about
apple.
before, so I'm not going to go in depth. What I will do though is mention the bird of pandas. This is a grebe. If you haven't seen one
Grebe?
before, let this be your introduction.
Yeah.
The hooded grebe will have 2 eggs, and they'll lay both on this kind of floating nest.
Okay.
First to hatch hitches a ride on their mom's back. Second
That's
place,
cool.
yeah, it just gets left there.
Oh, okay.
70% of the time, the grebe couple only
So
raises
basically
one
they
chick.
choose
It's
the
bad enough
favorite
the pandas do
and
it,
then
so at
it's
least the
go.
DreamWorks franchise isn't
Wow.
endangered anymore. Being critically close to being cooked while having a one-child
Eesh.
policy is just egregious. Oh my god.
Critically
In fact, the average
endangered.
baby raised per adult
Ugh.
each year is 2. That's not a smudge. Make that 0.2.
Oh
And
my
yet there's a
God.
bird that might be worse. Now, how could emperor penguins be here? They were in my Father's Day video, and the mothers aren't
They were
slouches
on the
either.
channel
But in a
as
really
well, that
cool
video.
twist of fate, the very thing that makes them great parents can royally screw the chick over. Prolactin is a hormone that goes into overdrive once the penguin lays an egg and keeps going long after the chick hatches. And it's believed
Okay.
it's actually the high levels of prolactin that drives a penguin to make the long trip back to its chick after days of filling up at sea. The problem is the prolactin doesn't fall off if the penguin ends up losing the chick, and the parental drive can be so strong it forces them to kidnap someone else's.
No!
Not only can the chick
No,
get accidentally
look at-
smothered in
bro,
the
they're gonna
process,
kill the
most
kid.
times the kidnapper loses interest after a couple hours, leaving the forcibly fostered chick to die, either of starvation, freezing, or getting turned out by a giant petrel.
Oof, yeah,
speaking
giant
of
petrels
which,
are
they'll really
nasty,
watch
you
an
know.
ice-chilled vulture snatch their child in front of them and will do jack about it.
They
I
do
mean, sometimes
none.
they'll try. Until they don't. Imagine the plot of Taken, but if Liam Neeson was in the same room and didn't even move from his couch. To be fair, I honestly don't know what I was expecting here. Except better. Mind you, that's only the
Better,
half
yeah.
of it. Literally. Because next is what I like
It's
to
just
call
half, man.
it be your own. You've probably seen videos of storks throwing their own chicks out of nests.
Yeah.
It's cuz in survival of the fittest. Fit isn't about strength or washboard abs, but fit is more like how good you are at making more of yourself and passing the genes off. Look like a liability, and most
No!
bird moms aren't gonna waste the resources better spent on your bigger brother. They'll just subtract you from the census themselves. And that's not the only way parents can be your biggest op. Scorpions are dedicated enough to literally carry their entire family on their backs for days. But let resources get low enough and you'll see a spice roach having a kid's
no.
meal. And long-tailed skinks go full scorched earth. She'll try to defend her nest, but if she feels like it's getting invaded too often, eventually she'll say "F it" and eat her entire family first.
Oh my
Funny
God.
thing is, most skinks will just lay their eggs and peace out, but those in the area codes of egg-eating snakes
Oh
will
my
guard their
God.
nests. That is until the moms get pressed enough and become the predator. The burying beetle has a different problem. You see, this corpse roach will turn an expired rat into a nursery, but if there's too many beetleists, there won't be enough food and they'll end up small and underdeveloped. So the beetle will systematically murk a small percentage of her own children to keep the ratio honest. And science says it's the beetles that beg the most for food that get packed up. Seriously, the larvae that beetles can
How do they know though?
The ones that
That's
only
the thing.
do it when they're genuinely hungry actually
Instinct,
have a better
I
chance
guess,
of
right?
surviving
That would
than
be
ones that
the
do it constantly.
scientific
In a weird
explanation.
way, it's like a creative tactic to reward honesty. But also imagine asking your mom what's for dinner and she takes your head off. Either that or it's a really messed up game of musical chairs where the biggest beetles get fed first until there's no food left, and the ones that get left out get terminated. Which is actually a great transition to the last pitfall of sibling rivalry.
Oh yeah, man.
Spotted hyenas take on-site literally. They will try to kill each other the moment they're born, and this ain't a friendly Disney Channel type of fate. A quarter of the cubs born never make it out of the den because of it. And considering the very process of birth can turn both parties into a hashtag,
that's why hyenas are like...
hyenas got it bad. So does this guy. The shoe-bill stork is one of many types of birds that will...
Oh yeah, bro. They will... sharks as well.
The script is the same.
There's like 5 shark babies on the mother's belly and only one is born. They'll just eat each other.
Survival of the fittest. Corpse as a victory meal. But arguably the most brutal case of competition happens in Tasmania. You know exactly
the devils, right?
Tasmanian devils worth 20, 30, sometimes up to 40 joeys. But somehow while their opossum cousins have 13 nipples and the short-tailed opossum has 27, the live-action Looney Tune got capped at 4. So now the blind, hairless, raisin-sized joeys have to somehow race their way from the birth canal all the way to one of 4 milk faucets. As you can guess, the first 4 to feed go on and grow. The remaining joeys get canceled like a Friends spinoff by the mother who eats them alive. I know I said musical chairs earlier, but this is That Meets Saw, directed by Casey Anthony. And somehow there's an animal that gets done even worse. The sand
even worse. Oh yeah,
50 embryos inside her uterus. The problem is, one litter can have multiple fathers. So once one of the embryos grows big enough, it swims around and starts eating all the others. And they don't just wipe out all the smaller embryos. Once the pup clears them, it then eats all the unfertilized eggs in the uterus. And you know these sharks duck zero smoke because the way we found out was from a scientist poking around a pregnant shark's uterus and getting his hand bitten by an undercooked pup. It's a special kind of spawn killing when you don't even let them spawn, but it gets even more metal because sand tiger sharks have 2 uteruses, so usually have 2 pups. And apparently some predatory pups will swim from one uterus to another and murk everything in sight. Sand tigers have one of the lowest reproductive rates of any shark. In utero cannibalism,
that's a new level of metal.
So those are all the ways childhood is a figurative flaw.
It's not even born yet, it's on site right away.
I missed the
he ate everything on this ovary and it's go to the other one just to murk everybody else on the side. Jesus.
The gauntlet, the rivalries, the occasional cannibalism. If you didn't think it could possibly get worse, be glad you're not a sea turtle.
Oh yeah, they go through it, man. They do.
Not only do they have to crawl for their lives from beach to sea, they also have to worry about getting digested alive in a vulture's stomach, crushed to death by crocodiles, and even having their eyes gouged out by cutthroat crabs. And yeah, that one's still alive. And that's just on the beach. Even if they hit the water, they're likely to get griefed by reef sharks, and in open water, threats like the dolphin fish are liable to turn turtles into hard candy. Some species improve their chances by going at night and using the moon as a guide, but man-made lights can confuse the turtles into going the wrong way.
Oh no!
And this ain't Mario Kart.
On the pool, bro, just chilling.
Even though sea turtle cannibalism has only really been seen in captivity, I would not put it past the wild ones, cause, well, remember when I said baby birds are like the potato chips of nature? Baby turtles are like the Kit Kat bars of the beach. Turtles got it so bad that their literal only defense is just having so many kids that it doesn't matter how low the odds are, they just have to not be 0. Let's talk numbers. If the average sea turtle lays, let's say 110 eggs in a clutch, and each lady turtle has an average of 3 clutches in a season, with about 100,000 females nesting at the same time, assuming only half the eggs actually hatch, you're looking at over 16 million hatchlings storming the beaches like Normandy. Numbers carry them so hard that sea turtles will actually sing to each other while in the eggs to make sure they're all on the same page and hatch at the same time. The thing for that, because in some species, only 1 in every 10,000 turtles born live long enough to make it worth it. The ones that do spend most of their lives at sea until one day their internal GPS takes them hundreds, if not thousands of miles back to the beach where it all began. It's almost inspiring, you know, every sea turtle you see was that turtle out of thousands, and if they can make it out of that, hey, maybe we don't have it so bad. Yeah, let me stop right there. Turtles might as well be named after all the shit they take. Imagine nature gifting you a real-life bullet-hell middle finger for your birthday, and this is the fastest you can go. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you
great video once
again.
again.
Know you appreciate that. Out of all the things she could have been, she's not a harp seal.
That's true.
I hope. If you're trying to see turtles for real, Cayman Islands Turtle Center, 100% recommended. And unless you're a baby turtle, I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Let's go. So there you have it, guys. Those were the craziest childhoods in the animal kingdom. Thank you so much for watching the video, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Before we go though, don't forget our videos on the channel, man. Come on, bro. Keep God first as always. Drink water, go tell somebody you love them, and if you're here, you know what to do, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. My name is Gonzii, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.